George was just saying off
You're
earlier, he's
going,
getting seasick now. Welcome all back to Das TV. I hope you're all keeping well and you're all obviously the great weekend. Start of second day into a new week now. I hope everybody is feeling okay. And we're obviously into an international break. Delighted obviously today to be joined by the voice of Anfield, doing it now, going on 51 years, August of this year, George, I believe, the 14th of August.
It is.
How are you keeping, mate?
I'm keeping okay. I test every day. I'm still negative, so that's good. As I say, you get to my age, you're just grateful to wake up every morning and still breathing. So I first thing I do every morning, I just look out the window and think, well, I'm still here, another one.
Another day ticked off the box. Yeah, well, you know what they say, don't you? There's a good song of it. And there's actually a song of Maradona doing volleys for Napoli one time. Live is life, very good song. So live is life, George. That's the way to look at it sometimes.
I've just put that on my playlist for the Cardiff game. I haven't played it for a while.
Yeah, I love that.
There's an omen.
Yeah, no, and look, it is. Sometimes we go through the stresses and strain of everyday life, but the most important thing is we're here to be taking part and to be around every day. And look, we do take that for granted, don't we? But I think the COVID has learned us one thing that we shouldn't, the little things. It's great to see fans back at games. How are you? You're doing well in general, as you mentioned. You're tested negative, and long may that continue. How is life now back at Anfield with full capacity? Because I haven't been over yet since the full capacities have got kicked in.
Yeah, it's getting back into a rhythm. I know it was funny because last season, because there were no people in, I was completely freaked out by the end of the season. I came out of Anfield. I said, I've never been so glad to get out of anywhere because it was so weird, the whole thing. It looked good on the TV. If you watch matches on TV, there was crowd noise. You could see all the banners. Some grounds had cardboard cutout fans. And obviously the football was as good as it normally was. So it looked great, but actually being in the place, all you could hear was echoes round. People, you could hear voices, you could hear the trainers shouting, and all the rest of it. That was really odd. So I was glad to get out of that. But of course, the start of this season, suddenly we've got 54,000 people in, and that took a while to get back used to again. Obviously it's been the way it's been for 50 odd years, but just to get back into the groove. We're still not fully back. There's still people. TV companies are still doing interviews out on the pitch, which means I have to turn my system down a bit. And the teams are still coming out separately, which is odd. But I'm hoping that in another week or two, maybe we'll just get back to absolutely normal, and then we can just grit our teeth and get on with the rest of the season, do the job.
Yeah, and that's great. Obviously, the fans back. I remember the first Anfield game back. They were in a friendly. They were back for, but then it came to full capacity for the Burnley game. We won 2-0, and it was a really perfect start to the season. 3-0 away at Norwich, 2-0 at home to Burnley. We were at the starting off the season full of intensity, energy, and things were looking good. The last time you were on, George, I know we signed Kanate, and you came on just before the end of the transfer window, and I know we both said who we'd like to sign, and we felt there was going to be more signings, and there wasn't. Kanate was the only one. Very quiet summer. Klopp played it really down. There was obviously some of the fan base was a bit, pessimistic towards the owners and Klopp for not signing. But it went okay, hasn't it? Like, what's your thoughts so far on the season in general in the Premier League, but more importantly on Liverpool? Like, what's your assessment of it? Just over the halfway mark now.
Well, look where we are in the league. People are moaning, saying, "Oh, it's all over. It's all over." And I said, "No, we're not even into February yet. What are we? 9 points behind City with one game in hand. We've got to go to the Etihad yet. We do that and we beat them. We're snapping on their coattails. I'd rather be the other way around. It was much better when we turned into 2020, when we were 25 points ahead of City, but we're certainly not out of it yet. And anything can happen between now and the end of the season. I think it really is a two-horse race now. Chelsea have thrown too many points away. I
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
they were our big rivals at the start of the season, but here we go. We're in, we've got some, we've got some great results lately. We're still in the FA Cup. We're in the final of the Carabao Cup. We're into the knockout stage of the Champions League, and we're second in the Premier League. That's not bad. Would it? If you said last August this is where we were going to be, you would have said, "Oh, that's fantastic," and that's what's going on. So it's I see silverware on the horizon, definitely.
yeah. No, absolutely. I think it will be. I said back then. I think I mentioned to you, if anyone wanted to watch back, that challenging this season, competing, giving mounting a serious title challenge, mounting a serious challenge in Europe, and winning silverware, I would have been happy with.
Yeah,
Because I wanted to be realistic. I know Chelsea, City were going to be dynamite this season, and just because Chelsea have dropped off in the league, I still think
yeah,
the Champions League they'll fancy. They won it last season. They'll fancy the FA Cup, and they'll fancy a final against Liverpool in a one-off game. Of course they will, like the way we'll fancy it. Two really good sides that have drawn in both games they played this season, and when you look back on it, maybe a draw was a fair result, but in the
yeah,
boat, But it's look, it is what it is so far. I think the season has done. We've done really well so far in the season. I know we dropped off a little bit in the league, but you look at Salah, Mane, Keita. There's no
yeah,
Elliot, no Thiago, because the three lads are away on AFCON, and this was a month where we struggled. We haven't done
yeah.
too bad, have we, George? Won two games, Premier League
Right,
games, only conceded one, and into a final in that. So it's good,
exactly.
and an FA Cup fourth round as well.
Yeah, well, we've exactly when people have been saying for weeks that when Salah and Mane go off to the African Cup of Nations, we'll be dead in the water, but we're not. And the next time we play, we'll have a full squad available unless somebody else gets crocked in the meantime. I'm not sure where Thiago's up to. If I just hope he keeps fit once he gets back. He's a cracking player. I've been really impressed with him. A few
Yeah,
people have said some some negative things about it, but I sometimes I just sit and watch him. Not ignore what's going on around him, and just his passing ability and his determination. Of course, he's inclined to give silly fouls away, but that's part of his game. I can live with that if he does what he does on the positive side, and I wouldn't like to be facing this team if I was another one of the Premier League managers. I tell you.
yeah, and you'd know from being at every game. Obviously, you're doing the announcements, you're playing some of the music, and the team lineups and stuff, and obviously you're announcing the goal scorer. So you would know more than anybody. You were there, you've the hot seat, one of the best seats at Anfield to see him playing. So you'd know as well as anybody. And I like agree with you, George. I think he's a cracking player. He's world class. He is a bit snappy in tackles, but I think, as you said, that's part of his game. And
Yeah,
look, like everybody, they can all improve. He's not the finished article, but he's. I definitely be waxing lyrics about him. I think he's a phenomenal player, and a
yeah,
player that when you bring back, it's not a good option. Keita comes back, he's not a good option. I think he's in a good season, but
yeah,
again, he's not playing regularly, and he does still get his fair share of injuries, which is frustrating. But Harvey Elliott, he's hitting the ground
yeah.
running, isn't he?
There's another
Unfortunately,
one.
it gets the injury.
Yeah, he's back in full training now, isn't he? And I'm really looking forward to seeing him get back in the team. The poor Jurgen, he's going to have terrible time, deciding on his teams in another few weeks because he'll have such a squad to get at. Obviously, we're getting near where are we? 25th. So we got another 10 days,
Yeah,
just under of the transfer window. So if they're going to make a move, I wish to get on with it, and I think it'll be like the last few transfer windows. In the very last few days, people start coming and going like nobody's business, and then we can just get on with it and settle down. We'll have a squad uh, to frighten everybody to death. I've said for years that one thing I like to see is a bench that's full of big stars. I know some people don't like it, but if I was the opposition and I'm thinking Liverpool need to make changes, and you look at the bench and they're all internationals, you think, they know what they're doing. I mean, City have had that for years, and they've bought the way through. Liverpool have actually worked for what we've got.
And you say that, George, like, so do you, Jurgen Klopp is big into squad harmony, he's big into this together stronger, and unity is better and unity is strength.
Yeah.
You can see that, can't you? The three lads go,
Absolutely.
Elliot's gone, Thiago's gone, Origi, who was a good option and gets that late goal at Wolves and gets really important goals for us, no matter what you think of him. It's only very young as well, he's still a young lad. But what I'm getting at is these are players that have good experience, some of them are world class, and they're missing from a team that would be relatively small enough. Like I've always said, we've 14, 15 unbelievable players, and after that, then there is a big drop off. And that's not to say that players are not good enough, because I do think some of them on that day are good. But what they thrive on is that love, isn't it, from Klopp? That intensity, energy, and he's, I mentioned it before, not only the fluidity but the rhythm, and they just love Klopp. That it enhances them. They automatically feel like world beaters, and sometimes they look at, to be fair, when you watch them, like this month was a fine example. If you were ever to look at it, missing a couple of players just over halfway through the season, we had a couple of disappointing results at Leicester, at Chelsea, I suppose. It wasn't the best Christmas for us, and you are looking back on past seasons and thinking January is always a poor month where we do drop points, and even the year where we got 97 points, we lost to City and that away at the Etihad, and it's just and we dropped. I was at the game a couple of weeks after that, home to Leicester. We're winning 1-0, and Maguire scores for them, and it's 1-1. And you're just thinking it's going to be the same. But in fact, the tide has turned rapid, and players have stepped up. Like Jota has stepped up. I think Robertson, Trent have been unbelievable. Matip, who's been all over the place, been world class. Fabinho. And even Tsimikas comes in for Robbo. You can just see Klopp has done something that no other Liverpool manager's done. His man management scale is exceptional, and a lot of what he does behind the scenes is also exceptional. And you can see now it's coming into fruition, isn't it?
It is indeed. I mean, I remember when Jurgen had been there a year or so, saying to somebody that we've got a team full of stars, but there aren't any stars, and they're all playing for each other. They're all pals. The feeling in the camp is brilliant. Again, something I remember saying to Ian St. John on LSE TV a while ago, when Roy Hodgson left and Kenny came back, we were watching some film of them training, and Kenny changed the training around because Roy used to have them dribbling around cones and whatever. Kenny said, no, we play football against people, and they did have five-a-side games, and the whole place was, all of a sudden it was full of smiles. And I said to Ian, in any walk of life, if you're happy in your work, you'll work harder, you'll work better, you'll produce more. And it's exactly the same in football. If they're all having a good time, they all feel to be part of the squad, even the kids. The way Jurgen gave Harvey Elliott a big hug when he came back to training, they must feel absolutely 10 feet tall when he's doing that. And it's his real skill is making the best of people's talent and giving them the confidence and making them feel like giants.
Yeah, his strength as well. Like I remember when we won the league, he was talking about the backroom staff. To Jurgen Klopp, it isn't about let's go out, give us 300 million, and let's sign the best players and who we think would improve us. And look, on paper, George, I could name a team, you could name a team. The chances are we'd be 100% right on who would fit in the Liverpool system, who would be good. But we're not in that position because we're not the right people for the job. Jurgen Klopp is. So sometimes you have to trust in him, to trust in the process. And yet they do make mistakes, and they'll say they done right, but we all know they done wrong. And we all do that in every walk of life. Like we're students of the game, but we're all students of life. So in a nutshell, we're all learning as we go along and everything. None of us are experts. Even an expert isn't an expert if they say they get me. Do you know what I mean? So these things happen, and Klopp is always great to come out and defend his team, defend the club and himself, and look, will admit when he's wrong. And you don't always believe everything he says because he knows how to play the media, and he can have that politician kind of vibe about him where he knows to say the right things at the right time, and that's what we need. But he gets it right. He gets it right most of the time, and the action does the talk, and it's not just, he doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk. But he's just very unique in terms of, as I said, strength is unity and never give up. And we've seen so many examples that for him it's all about showing love, trusting the players. If they give it back to you, then they deserve a spot. You know, if it means, you know, I'm extending a deal for a player that isn't the most likable, but is working what I'm doing and is working a part of the system and is working hard off the ball and obviously doing his job right. And there's a lot of sports science behind it. And the lads that work for Jurgen under him are going back to him, feeding back these stats and what they're doing. He's not just going to say get rid of him and bring in Mbappe or whoever, because to him it's all about, you know, there's no player bigger than the club. Let's and play for the badge. And you see that, you know, Alan C is thrown there. Oh, how I missed that voice and music. Hope we get back to Anfield soon. That's for you, George.
Thanks, Alan.
And he throws another one here. Did you guys see the clip on YouTube of Klopp getting off the bus to give some beers? That was at Palace the weekend to fans after the Palace game. How lucky are we to have him? Absolutely. And that again, like, how many managers do that? Who's done that in the past? It epitomises where he's at. The going up to the cop at the end of the Brentford game and the fist pumps away at Palace. It was to show, listen, realistically, are we going to win a title? None of us are going to be upset if we don't, because we're kind of grown up enough and realistic to know that it's in City's hands now. Was to keep fighting, keep going. But this season, was the target to win the league for Klopp? I'm sure it was to win as much as he can. But he'll have his mindset and other things as well. And, you know, the league, whether we win it or not, he's not going to be getting upset about it. But he'll demand that we win something this season. And at the end of the season, we turn around and say, what a season that was. That's what I get. And I see from that statement, that was a big statement, wasn't it? The fist pumps. Because he doesn't do that in every game or every win.
Oh, no. He's he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's a joy to watch. Again, it must be wonderful being on the camera just focused on him all the game. Is, you know, I've never seen a manager, well, apart from Antonio Conte possibly, who goes, you know, so emotional during a game, Conte is, you know, he does it to excess. It doesn't mean anything. Whereas Jurgen, you know, when he looks like he's chuffed a bit, he is chuffed a bit. He kicks every ball, and he goes mad when, you know, when Liverpool score. He celebrates, if, you know, for the whole team. He's just a joy, and obviously I'm indebted to Jurgen, because this year he's been on English television a couple of times, plugging my book and, you know, telling the world what a wonderful bloke I am, which is, I mean, that's as good as it gets. I remember saying to my wife the last time, I'd shoot me now, because life is not going to get any better than this. Jurgen Klopp doing that on TV. I
seen that. That was on Channel 4. Yeah. I actually had Jimmy Morris there now that's in the comments. I work with Jimmy, George. I was bigging him up to you.
Yeah.
He had asked, I'd sent this on to him last night that you're going to be on and that. And Jimmy's a Chelsea fan, but he's a good lad. And he was asking, saying, yeah, you're a very iconic voice and that. So I sent them on the thing of where Klopp and Dalglish had were kind of waxing lyrics about you. They're speaking really good and calling you a legend. And you were fairly emotional when it came to that. And obviously rightly so, because they're like, Kenny is like your icon, but then you and Klopp's the modern day. Like, you've been there with Shankly, with Paisley, you've been a part of the setup now, 51 years in August, like that's incredible. Well, but Jimmy is there thrown in big up that TV. George, what are the points like at Anfield? So Jimmy wants to know what beer you like or what.
This is my typical strange delight. I don't drink beer. Nobody believes me. I don't. I'm one of those lucky or unlucky people. I have half a pint of beer and I've got a raging headache. So it means that in my house, I'm almost the designated driver, which, you know, it could be worse. You know, I get to drive everywhere. I don't end up standing out in the rain waiting for a taxi or whatever. But no, people look at me and they just assume I'm a big drinker. I'm not. I just
your V's back as the years have went on. You're kind of just you know, look, the age is older. I've been doing this a long time. Now it's time to stay hydrated more and have less stresses in life, George. Yeah, but
true.
It's sorry there. Before we went on to that, you were talking there about Dalglish and Klopp had obviously bigged you up with the book coming out. It was that a year or two ago? I think it was over a year ago.
No, it was just last year, 6th of May. It came out. It's coming out again in August this year in paperback, which have been. I've seen the cover of the paperback, and they've they've now changed it to incorporate a quote from Jurgen on there, which is, the more I look at it, the more crazy it looks.
Yeah.
But Jurgen did actually make another video after that, in which basically he was apologising for upsetting me the first time, because I
Right.
was so shocked on Channel 4. I had no idea Jurgen was going to crop up, and it was a struggle to keep myself together, because obviously it was live national TV, and I was, all said to have a heart attack and just, fall over. But I had to just take a deep breath and get on with it. But I was so chuffed. And there was a headline in the local paper that said, Jurgen reduces the voice of Anfield to tears on national TV. And I thought, that's great.
Yeah, it is great, and it's lucky if you want to be in tears to anybody, it wants to be Jurgen Klopp, doesn't it? So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's really, that is as good as it gets. And Kenny, I mean, Kenny's been saying nice things for years, but Jurgen saying that just out of the blue was just amazing.
yeah, it was great. It was a real touching tribute. It was, I have to say, because look, you, as I said to you before, you're a real legend of the club. To be a part of what you're a part of, to see so much, to be a part of so much for, like, I mean,
Yeah.
51 years now and still going. The question will be, will you get to the 55? I'm sure you will, but
I don't know. I'll say it's getting a bit hairy now. There's so many rules and regulations, and behind what I get to do every week. It's very annoying. Obviously, I'm cracking on, but I don't know. I might get run over by a bus tomorrow. It's Tuesday night, Euro Millions night. I might win the 100 million. I might be, if I do, I'll be going somewhere very, very sharpish. I can tell you that for nothing. But I don't know. My next aim is to be working in Anfield when we get to the 61,000 capacity, when the new stand's finished. That'd be good. Because I've never actually spoken to that many people inside Anfield. Obviously, I did Wembley a couple of times years ago when we were in the League Cup, but that would be good. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Obviously, when I started going as a fan, it was still the old Anfield, the old wooden stands and everything. And when Shanks came, Shankly came to Liverpool about a fortnight before I started going to watch them, and I remember the first thing he said with the place was a tip, and the first thing he wanted to do was make the stadium look bigger and better and shinier and cleaner. And obviously now we've got something to be really proud of, and we haven't finished yet. What they're doing to the Anfield area around the stadium is something else, and it's going to it's going to be better, bigger and better as time goes on.
Yeah, it's real state-of-the-art stuff outside of the ground. And that new main stand, George, I've been in it 2 or 3 times. It's incredible.
Yeah,
It's real state-of-the-art. Archie Doolan throws in a comment there. How are you, Archie? I hope all is well, mate. All right, mate. And George, great to see you on again. We are honoured. What do you think of Gerrard, and do you think he will end up at Anfield? Now, that's a good question, George. What's your views? Because he is doing great.
I'm absolutely convinced that Stevie will end up back at Anfield. When he went to Rangers, I thought that was part of a big plan. Going to Aston Villa, it's a step up. With all due respect to Glasgow Rangers, Villa is a step up from there. And to somebody at my age, Aston Villa, a club with a huge history, and he's doing the business down there. He hasn't even brought in any new players yet. He's got the stuff they had, to his way of thinking. They've had a couple of great results. They're moving up the league. They're going to be in a respectable position in a couple of years. And I know Jurgen's contracted, isn't he, till 2024.
Yeah.
I'm not hoping that Jurgen goes. I really like to think that at that stage he'd say, I really can't leave this place now.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But if and when he does, we're getting to the stage now, I'm absolutely sure that Stevie will be ready. And I can't believe that he won't. He's not thinking about being a Liverpool manager one day. That'd be, a great end to his career, and I could go and put my feet up in the care home and just watch the TV and relax. Then it'd be great. He's a lovely fella, Stevie G, and I'm so pleased to see what he's doing down there, and it's just so obvious to me that that's where he's going to end up. I might be wrong. I hope not.
I think so. I think when you read between the lines, but even how he talks about Liverpool, and even when he went to Rangers, how much he still bigged up Liverpool, and he big out to social media. So if he gets offered the Liverpool job, if Klopp does decide in 2024 at the end of his contract to go, for whatever reasons, time out, a break, because it is a huge job and it take a lot out of you. Stevie then could be the man, but it would depend at the time where we're at as a club, what the aim is, and how well he's done. Because if he doesn't cut at Villa, then I don't think Liverpool will be right for him. But so far, so good for him, isn't it? At Villa, he's really doing himself proud as a manager, because he did do great at Rangers. Alan C puts in a comment here: my daughter, who was only in Anfield once, age 9, a few years back, just walked past me and she recognised George's voice. So obviously, she heard you. Yeah, that's great, George. They're very iconic around Anfield, and for anyone that goes.
It's a tale I tell to a lot of people. I'm working on a new book now, the follow-up to the one that's out and about, which will probably come out in maybe 3 years. But I still get stopped at Anfield by stewards. Where the hell do you think you're going, mate? I look at them and then they won't let me in. Although we've had some trouble with the printing of the security passes this season, so it's been a bit of a pain. But what I do, eventually I just stand there and go, there'll be 2 minutes of added time, 2 minutes. And then they all go, oh, sorry, mate, off you go. Yeah. Everybody recognises the voice. Nowadays, people recognise the face because of being all over the media the last 12 months. So that's nice. My wife hates it, but it tickles me every time. I never thought, when I was a kid, if you told me I'd be walking around Liverpool and people would stop and ask for me photograph, I would have said you were crackers. But here we are. It's that's what happens. It's lovely. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you're very iconic around. I obviously would have met you before, seen you, and noticed the voice. So it was obviously great for me to get you on. But a lot of people wouldn't know you to see. But I think more and more people are now, because you are a lot more in the media, on social media. And This is Anfield, put up some stuff about you, and then the Channel 4 programme you were on, and then now with the book out, I think everyone does. And for anyone that doesn't know, you can buy the book here in Ireland and Easton, still sell it. I would have got it when it came out. I know you can get it on Amazon, a lot of other places. And I don't know, do the club sell it? LFC might even sell it.
Yeah, the club shop have got it, which is nice. Because I was very keen to get it in there, and they stocked up on the thing. And I know, every time I go in there, which I do when there's grandchildren's birthdays coming up and whatever, I'll go and have a little look, make sure it's still on the shelf, and it is. So, but again, it's on their website as well. But it's available all over the world now.
Yeah, everywhere, and Liverpool have so many shops all over the world now that you would definitely be spotted far and wide, George. So what's the plan short term for you, George? Just kind of going with it and seeing how things are. And Ruddy throws in a comment there, in how is it? Yeah, what's the short term plan for you now, George, going forward? Is it just keep doing what you're doing, or is there any coming up on LFC TV or anything?
Yeah, it's I haven't been on since I'm trying to think when it was. It was the start of this season, not long after the book came out. But I do things like I go and talk to sort of lunch clubs and things, and that all died to death during the pandemic. But now I'm busy again. Obviously, I'm trying to get the new book written, and I spend a lot of time nowadays getting the playlist together for the next match. Once upon a time, what I'd do, I'd just leave here with a bag full of compilation CDs quite often. Um, and let's go to Anfield and work my way through them. But nowadays, I spent every day, getting tracks together to put on the playlist, and I'll build a playlist over a period of time. The players are now letting me know what they like to listen to while they're warming up. This is completely new, and obviously things happen like Christmas Day. Poor Janice Long passed away. So the following game, I had a playlist full of stuff that she was connected to one way and the other. Because I was devastated about that, because I've known Janice for a long, long time, and things like that happen. And then, as I say, people will send me their new single if they're in a band. It's amazing the quality of stuff I get sent to me nowadays. So I keep busy, and doing, I enjoy doing things like this. Obviously, as my wife says, I can sit here and talk to till the cows come home.
Yeah.
Tell your friend Rudsey I have a
Yeah. Do
couple of
you have an
standing.
apprentice, George? If not, I'll sign up.
there's, there's a queue.
There's a queue, Rudsy. Yeah, but you know, if you're not in, you can't win. So we'll. Rudsy's a regular. Yeah, he just dropping a few comments. He is a regular.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting the hitman to turn up here one day and move people one up the queue. But
Yeah.
I have a good friend who worked for the BBC who stood in for me years ago when I had to go and work away during the week, and he's now been moved by the BBC back up north. He's working in Salford, and he now works in matchday control. So if and when I fall off my perch, literally, if I have a heart attack during the game, he'll be there ready to take over. So I don't know what's going to happen in the long term. Obviously, there are certain younger elements at Liverpool who would like me to go and put my feet up and sit in the armchair and watch daytime TV. But I'm keeping ahead of the game. You have to keep one step ahead of these people.
Yeah,
And
you do.
that's what I'm doing at the moment. I mean, the playlist, is certainly not anything like fuddy duddy yet. I'll still keep ahead of what's going on now. There's some stuff I don't like. I'll play because I know other people will like it. I draw the line at Stormzy.
Yeah, Stormzy.
The day you hear
Yeah.
me playing a Stormzy track,
You'll need to go with the live as life one soon, George. That'll be on the next one, maybe a half time.
That'll be back at the Cardiff game.
Yeah, that's great. So I'll have a listen out for that. Yeah, look, I'm going to be getting over to a game pretty soon as well now with restrictions obviously eased, and it's a lot easier. And I've only, as I said to you last time I was talking, just waiting to move into a new house we're in, and now as you can see, it's from what the little bit you can see, it's as good as new. So it is. So getting out to a game soon will definitely be the priority. And yeah, definitely it'll be great. Do you know what I mean? Go over and then listen to all the good playlists, because you do. I know you used to play a lot of the latest as well and new ones that were out, but
yeah,
plays no Stormzy, Troy Abbott, great mood lifter. Yeah, that's Abbott. You can't go wrong with it. Yeah,
I love Abbott.
But oldie.
You're on the right track there, mate. Because I really, really love ABBA. I was so pleased. I mean, probably the high point of last year, other than the book coming out, was the new ABBA album. We've been waiting so long. I had everything they ever issued here. Well, obviously I have now. I saw them in concert in 1979, which was just unbelievable. And a couple of years ago, I went to the ABBA Museum in Stockholm. And I keep saying to people, if you've never heard of ABBA, if you don't like them, if you just go and see this place, it's an absolute wonderful place. They've got replicas of all their studios, the original costumes. And
what would be your favourite ABBA song, George? Or would you have a favourite, or is it just in general you like them?
A favourite ABBA song is probably Like Old Friends Do. It's not one of their big hits.
Okay,
Yeah, I love that. It's quite sad, but it's very atmospheric. But as I say, I love them, and I just they were showing a video the other night of ABBA in that helicopter that was on the cover of one of their albums, and I said, turned to my wife and said, I've actually sat in that thing. There's not that many people who can say that was something else.
No, yeah, that's
And thanks
incredible.
to Alan C. plugging the Audible version.
That's a great option. Absolute cracker.
Yeah,
That's
it
a great
is.
shout out, Alan.
It's now out on CD, incidentally, which is crazy. I've got one copy stashed. I must just slide sideways.
Yeah, take your time, yeah.
I haven't even taken the wrapping off that.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah,
Still
there's a
shrink
new
wrap.
one.
I said again, I said to my wife, just when you think you've seen everything, here's me, 75, and that's my first CD just come out.
Yeah, incredible.
You know,
No, it's incredible, and it's a huge credit to you, George. You know, you keep going at like 75 in the dream job for, as you see people shouting into the apprentice there. That's great,
Yeah.
Woodsy, but it's that's quality, you know what I mean? And look, Alan C, that's a great one to shout in for people that didn't know on Audible, because some people would probably rather that. You know, some people just don't like books or reading; they're more into watching something or visualizing or listening. That's great, because I think everyone loves to listen to a podcast or to a documentary on Audible. Archie Doolan throws in a good question here, George, just before we wrap it up. George, have you any funny memories of a song reaction from crowd or players? I'm sure you would, but you're probably putting the spot with that one, are you?
Yeah, have put me right on the spot. I've got a lot of funny memories, but I mean, obviously the favourite, the one everybody talks about, is 2001. We beat Roma in the Champions League, and I put on at the end of the match Arrivederci Roma, and somebody upstairs at the club had said, yeah, that was a good idea, because if you listen to Arrivederci Roma, the song basically says, we look forward to seeing your beautiful city again. And I put it on, and the cop took it all the wrong way. The entire cop, all of them to a man, started falling about laughing. And then when I got back to the press room, a steward came out and said, don't go in there, go home quick. And the next day I was in the papers.
Because I was at that game. I was only a young lad, so I've good memory of it, but I wouldn't have remembered that now. Yeah.
And then the following Sunday, we were in Cardiff for the League Cup final. And I had to do something out on the pitch. And afterwards, I had to walk all the way around the stadium to get to my seat, which was right the opposite side. And all the way round, there are Scousers coming the other way, singing Arrivederci Roma. And
brilliant.
So I still can't go to Italy for my holidays.
Seriously. Yeah. You're still in the Rome airport, not to be allowed in. Yeah.
I'm told there are contracts out at my over there.
Yeah, there's definitely a hit team out in Rome for you, George. Your audio, maybe they might know you more by the audio than the faces in Rome Airport. You definitely won't be welcome there. But I never knew that story. That's very funny, and I'd imagine being there and seeing it, and then as you said, even after a match, the scouts were singing it. That's unbelievable. Archie Doolan throws an Audible up my street. Absolutely, a lot of people look at rather than reading the book. George, we'll wrap it up. But as I said, we tried to get about 40 minutes in tonight. It was just a quick catch up in the season so far. I think we both agree, from what you said and your own views on it, that there's still a good bit of the season left, even though I'm more than halfway there. But I think we'll have a good end to the season, won't we? I think this could be a great season, and I'm hoping, because look, there's nothing won or lost yet, but it's looking good for us, isn't it?
It is. It really is. What was that song? The future's so bright, I've got to wear shades.
Yeah. The future's so bright, you got to wear shades. Yeah, that's true. I know that. What song was that again? I can't remember
that was the title of the song, and I'm trying to think.
I don't even know what way it goes. Yeah, but no, that's brilliant. It is. But I do agree with you. I think we will have a good end to the season. I'm hoping anyway. It's hard, obviously, to say, but the good thing is now there's an international break. When we come back, we have the game against Cardiff at home, then at home to Leicester, and then I think it's away at Burnley. So it's three games in a week. But we've more options. We'll have 4 or 5 players coming back. Hopefully we keep as many people fit as possible and have those options, George. And then I think we could be an emphatic end to the season, couldn't it?
Certainly could. I hope they've got plenty of silver polish. That's all I can say.
Yeah, plenty of champagne. Maybe you'll take your alcohol consumption if we do well this season. You might decide to have a few. Yeah, Greg Dutch was hey lads, just don't tune in. Absolutely, Greg. We're just finishing up now, buddy. You can go back and watch it at the start, but this is on now 40 minutes, but with some great interest and chat and points in it. And look, George, it's great to get you on, buddy. As I said, you will be on again. I'll definitely reach out to you. We'll get back on again. Maybe in a couple of weeks we'll do. So I was thinking about getting a quiz going. I know I was in contact with last time you couldn't. Yeah. The time wasn't suited, but a quiz would be good to get yourself on, and maybe another lad, 1 or 2 of the lads on. And we'll do a questionnaire, and then there'll be a surprise for whoever wins it. It'll obviously be on me. We'll give out, but it'll be a bit of banter. It'll be a good humour. We can try and get maybe an hour, sometime 45 minutes, an hour quiz, and we'll do it. Yeah, we'll do it properly. We'll see what we can sort out. Absolutely. Well, George, it's great to get you on. You're looking as well as ever. You actually look younger than the last time you were on, so that's all compliment to you. It must be the crowd back at Anfield.
Oh, it's the lighting. It's the lighting on this.
It's the okay, yeah. Well, keep up the light. The filters are obviously they work. They do what they say in the tin. But it's great to get you on, and I hope. Wish you all obviously the best with health and staying safe in the future. And
the same to you and yours.
I appreciate that. There you are. You'll never walk alone. Rutsy chose in, George. Absolutely. A legend at Liverpool, and everybody obviously. George, are you on Twitter? You're on Twitter, aren't you?
People I'm on Twitter at Voice of Anfield.
Yeah.
It's I'm a bit difficult to miss on there. So.
Yeah, and obviously there's stuff on YouTube about your LFC TV. Have done stuff, and your book is on sale. If anyone wants to buy the book, is on sale. And as George said, and Alan Seach from the comments, it's on audio as well. That if you just want to go through on that, he did say it was on audio. The book
Audible.
Audible, yeah, you can listen to George's voice
on Amazon. But it's I say there's a CD out there, and the book is all over the place now. I think if we just Google my name now, you'll find it, which is it's amazing. That's something else that cracks me up. If I put my name in Google, the stuff that comes up is just ridiculous. It's amazing.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff, and you're doing a lot of great videos, and some legends like you've been a part of the club with Paisley, Shankly, Fagan, Dalglish, Souness was there, Roy Evans, Houllier, Rafa, and Jurgen Klopp, and obviously Rafa now is out of Everton, so that's the last time you were on, George. We were talking about Rafa only taking on the job, and there was no hard feelings towards him, and rightly so.
The wheels came off, I'm afraid, but at least I've got a lot of time for Rafa.
Absolutely,
I'm just when he came, I was just so glad he got home from China. Well, I thought for a week or two he might go back to Newcastle, but at the moment he lives just over the river, as you know, so he's probably just chilling out at the moment, taking a deep breath before the next challenge. We'll see what that might be.
Yeah, and best of luck to Rafa. He's loved by Liverpool and always will be. Agent Rafa was found out what Rutsy chose in. Yeah, we were all having a bit of banter with that Agent Rafa. He went to Liverpool or getting him to go to Everton. But yeah, he was. Yeah, look, he's left, and it's they've had a lot of great managers. Ancelotti, Benitez, and hasn't went well. So I think that the problems are obviously wider than just the manager at the club. George, best of luck. Stay safe, and everybody remember to like, comment, and share this video. And I'll be back on a bit of a break for a while now. We'll be back on next week with a preview for the Cardiff City game, and then obviously we'll be back into things, trying to get content on a couple of times a week. Then we play Leicester and Burnley that week, and then we're getting closer to Cup Final. The Cup Final is going to be a big one. We'll be doing some great content leading up to that, and it'd be great to get you on as well, George, just before the Cup Final to give your thoughts and views on that, if that's possible. But thanks, George. A pleasure as always to get you on, and thanks to everybody for tuning in today, dropping in the comments. It was great interaction with you all, and I will be back on, as I said, for the Cardiff City game with a preview. Big up to you all, and take care.